and welcome to Pod Return to the Waking Sands. We are a Final Fantasy XIV companion podcast where we explore the lore and story of Hydaelyn and beyond. My name is Jen, and I'm joined by my co-host and researcher.
I'm Levi.
What's up, Levi?
What's up, Jen? We gotta...
you do not entertain any sort of deviation. You're like, what's up? What's up today is boom episode.
If you would allow me, Jen, I was going to say that what's up is that we have to do some padding here because we have a very short and straightforward dungeon this episode. Oh
god, this is basically a 20 minutes no notes kind of a vibe.
Jen took no notes, but I have notes.
You do, because you always do. But just full disclosure, this was pretty light on content, so it is what it is.
The thing that we are doing, now that we've checked in,
yep, we're setting expectations,
is we are playing through the Sohm dungeon.
Correct. Y'all remember that vividly, right? Vividly.
We did not.
It is a turning point in the Heavensward
oh no.
plot overall. It is not. That doesn't mean it's bad. It just means that
it's
not
average.
Very memorable. The memories are made between you and your party members.
Your party members.
I couldn't think of your I couldn't think of another word.
Companions.
Your
teammates.
Your party
bosom
mates.
friends.
Your bosom. Oh, bosom.
Your comrades in arms.
Comrades in the bosom.
Great. Good job, Jen. Already doing that padding.
Yes. Ayo.
Anyway, nice. This is a MSQ dungeon. So, Jen, would you please remind us why we're here?
All right. So this has been a long time in the making. Getting to this point has been the entire Heavensward process so far. So way back in the day, when weeks and weeks and weeks, I don't know, months ago, we realized that the Horde was planning some other thing on Ishgard, and we're like, we gotta bail or we gotta stay and fight. I'm like, we're not staying and fighting. That's stupid. We could put our Alphinaud's idea was we could put our efforts to better use by maybe parlaying with the head dragon, and in this case, Nidhogg, to be like, hey man, this is a lot of death and destruction for like a really old grudge, and we're not even sure you remember why you're mad, so like maybe knock it off. So we're like, that sounds great. Let's do that.
Jen, a dragon remembers. They always remember.
Well, we all know that, but Alphinaud was like, maybe we can talk some sense into him or something. Like, well, Estinian was like, this is stupid. And like, maybe it is. But here we go. Into the Dravanian Forlands to figure out a way. We got Ezel on our team. And she's like, I don't think you're going to be able to talk to Nidhogg. I think what we should do is talk to Hraesvelgr. He seems like a little bit more reasonable. Also, he's the dragon that gave me my vision of the truth of the past. So let's do that instead. And we're like, fine. When we go to Annex Shrine and we talk to Vidofnir, which is like an old dragon pal of Ezel's, and she's like, sorry, I can't make introductions for you with Hraesvelgr because we're very busy monitoring the Nath and their god, and they're doing all sorts of fighting with us, and I can't. My job is this now. We're like, how about we eliminate that whole thing so that you can do what we want? And she's like, well, good luck to you. Because it's literally a god. And we're like, been there, done that. So we go into the Nath territory. We get caught on purpose. We go into Lord Ravana's situation. We fight him. And because we win, he has to like stop fighting dragons. We go back to Vidofnir. We're like, we did it. No more Nath. They're not going to fight you anymore. So now that you're freed up, you can take us to Hraesvelgr. And she's like, all right. She doesn't take us there, like escort us there, but she opens the path for us. So last time we finally got that whole thing to open up, and now we are finally teleported into Sohm, that floating situation above the mountain.
Floating situation.
Correct. You can't just like go there. You have to.
Jen, this is the floating peak of the highest mountain in Eorzea.
It's pretty major.
It is pretty major.
Yeah. Vidofnir, she was like, you guys are good at stuff. We made our way through Morn. not really that big of a deal.
Oh my God. All right. That's too much padding, Jen.
Okay, great.
Less padding.
But you asked me, like, why are we here? I'm like, oh, it's a lot. There's
That
like
was
this that feeds
my
into this, that feeds into this, that
different
feeds
phrasing
into this.
of what did we do
happened
last time.
You know what? You got to be specific, man.
With
Use your
Jin,
words.
Yes. Oh, so rude. Anyway, yeah. So Sohm All is where we are, highest peak in Eorzea, and a sacred site to the dragons, which we are about to murder our way through. Though, if it's any comfort to you, Jin, maybe you can calm your morals with the thought that much like the Morn Caverns below, when a dragon feels that they are near death, they feel compelled to come to the slopes of Sohm All and lay down for their final rest here. So maybe all the dragons that we're killing are old and dying dragons anyway.
Oh, we gave them one final thrill.
There we go. We're doing them a service.
Wow, yes.
We are the warrior of light.
We show up at the dragon nursing home and we're like, laser tag, bitches, but it's for real.
Real lasers. So Sohm All's peak, like Jen mentioned, floats above the actual mountain itself, and the reference art for this is super cool. Like in the zone loading screen.
Yep.
Love it.
It's not cool.
It is not cool.
We ran Sohm All with a couple of people from the Discord. That was Ven Kamoa. They ran as Dark Knight. And Kathy Wolfshead ran as Red Mage. Kathy, our blue sky in the sky.
Yes.
Chopper 6. Chopper Kathy on the internets. So which was great. And we ran it on minimum eye level, which we've done before with obviously great success, but not without difficulty. So I think our expectations were set a little high for this, and it didn't turn out to be too bad.
The Heavensward min eye level, like we can't, pound things. We will see the mechanics at least, but is not like the trials that we get with a Realm Reborn min eye level.
Correct.
Because Heavensward is a lot more balanced overall. This is more like the experience that you get when you're first playing through the expansion, when your gear is not poeticed up.
Yes, which is nice.
Yes.
So we have plenty of opportunity to push buttons and see mechanics without it being a bloodbath.
Yeah, but we can wall pull and we will not die for doing so.
Yeah, we still feel the fear of God a little bit, which is nice.
We arrive high up the mountain on a worn path with scattered Gervanian ruins about the area. And we have quite a bit of flora around here. Glowing cattails, bell-shaped flowers, and your standard ground cover. The first dungeon leg is the flora and fauna section. We fight Galacats, Ochus, and pollen-spreading plants called drake spurs. The latter are stationary and they spawn smaller pollen-spreading plants until we kill them. This section culminates with a Rafflesia fight named Raskovnik. Its main mechanic is that it will summon hornets. If you allow the hornets to reach the boss, they will give it a stacking damage up. Though we were feeling cocky on our fight and we ignored the ads to no detriment.
True. I was like, oh my god, there's ads, guys. We should do the ads thing because I'm being strategically or tactically correct in dealing with the ads first. But it did not matter.
Nope. The boss also has like a draw-in mechanic, and then they will do a point-blank AoE. If you get got by the AoE, you will be eaten for a few seconds, which is fun.
Nom 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 nom.
Yes.
In the belly.
Or in the flower, because it's the plant creature.
In the stamen.
Yeah, in the stamen. Gross. We press on upwards and into the mountain.
Like that horror game. Sorry.
What?
Like that horror game.
What game do you get stamened?
Scarum, the horror game.
Oh my god. Okay, whatever.
Whatever.
We press on upwards and into the mountain. The undergrowth is soon replaced by volcanic rock.
Mm-hmm.
A big dragon will harry you as you fight the trash mobs, spitting fireballs in your general direction. You can either dodge the AoEs, or if you run far enough ahead, the dragon will land and fight you. And in a bit, we have a cool blue crystal section where we get a similar dragon mechanic, but this one summons ice clusters. These ice clusters shed little ice sprites as they melt, and like before, you can expedite the dragon landing and fighting you by advancing towards like the next barrier, and the dragon will stop summoning those ices and start fighting you.
Is this where we were like, we had Stone Vigil PTSD about the ice sprites? We're like, oh, are we all going to get got right now?
Yes, but no.
But no, correct.
These are gentle, nice ice sprites.
But we all had that thought. We were like, oh man, remember when those ice sprites came out? Oh,
yep.
Yeah, I was scared, man.
Notably, these dragons are not killed by us, but they are wounded and they fly away after they're injured sufficiently.
Also classic. These are also, they were sold to us as being Nidhogg minions, so we shouldn't feel bad about destroying them. Oh, okay, so one, they're old and feeble, right? And they're on the brink of death, and we're bringing them one last bit of martial joy in their very short lives, and
they're very short dragon lives.
Right? Yeah, they're like they're on the cusp of death apparently, and then also they're like Nidhogg buddies. So fuck them.
Nidhogg, the famous aggressor in this war, and not, if you believe Izel, the OG victim. Yes, they are the enemy, and we must fight them without any moral compunction.
That's the way it was sold to us.
Yes.
So
okay. So anyway, we fight them, and they are wounded, and they flee. The next boss is Myath, a Vinegaroon. The Vinegaroons are the T-Rex dragons with the Hela head and tail horns.
Oh.
The horny T-Rexes.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yep, Tammy and the horny T-Rex.
Yes, I don't know who Tammy is, but sure.
It's a bad movie with something Richardson. The woman from Starship Troopers. She played the pilot, and fucking Paul Walker.
Okay.
Rest in peace.
There are two lady leads in Starship Troopers.
It's the other one.
I don't know who the other one is.
The pilot.
Thank you. That
yes.
answers the question.
Yes.
The other one does not answer the question. Thank you.
I did say pilot originally.
Oh, did you? Sorry, I missed that.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, anyway, the record will show, I'm sure.
It will, but that's fine. It's not important.
At any rate, so we were fighting Myath here. This fight is like a weird remnant from before they did the dungeon revamp for the Trust AI.
Mm-hmm.
The fight gimmick is the Vinegaroon will summon slimes and then eat them. And then when he eats the slime, you either get a stack or a spread marker. The old version of the fight had the exact same mechanic, but the markers were weird. So it was more of like a pattern recognition of saying, okay, so this color slime means you stack, this color slime means you spread.
I vaguely remember
there was a marker on you, it just was not the standard stack or spread markers.
Right, yeah.
The fight's the exact same thing as beforehand, it's just that there's no pattern recognition component.
They've just unified the symbols.
Which kind of makes the slime eating needless because, he's just eating slimes for some reason, and then you have normal mechanics.
Stuff, yes. Also gross. Don't eat slimes.
There is a green slime on the second slime round, Jen. This is a DPS check. Mm-hmm. If you don't kill it in time, it will explode for big damage.
Big D's.
That's the fight. Big D T-Rex. Big D slime, horny T-Rex.
Great. Yep. You can see that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Horror game.
Goodness. The reason Jen's being weird about this is that before we recorded, I mispronounced Skyrim as Skyrim.
It's like he had only ever seen it written and never heard anybody say Skyrim. And he was talking about the next game he was going to play for my benefit so I could watch. Yeah, and so he's like, oh, I've downloaded Skyrim too. And I'm like, what? Thinking, and I heard Scarum, like scare them, Scarum. I'm like, is that a horror game? And he's like, horror game? So we've got Scarum the horror game as opposed to Scarum the horror game as opposed to Skyrim. So that's going to be the joke that I throw in his face for the next, 72 hours.
Sure. Yes.
Yeah.
For anyone who cares, I have never played Skyrim before.
Skyrim.
Thank you. But Jen wants to see it, so we're going to do it. It's going to be fun for the whole family.
I agree. Yes. I want to see that opening cutscene. Like, oh, you're finally awake.
Yes, the meme cutscene.
Exactly. Yeah.
Honestly,
I want to be a part of the zeitgeist.
I honestly don't know when I've heard it spoken because I don't hang out with filthy Elder Scrolls players. Last good Elder Scrolls game was
That is
Morrowind.
true.
You can at me. I don't care.
You've said that, and I think there are many people who would agree with you. So, Morrowind, I think, just came out with like a big...
No, Oblivion
thing?
got the revamp, and I don't care about the remake.
All right.
You can at me some more. I don't care. Anyway, so...
Stay tuned for contact information at the end of this episode.
Oh, no. We defeat the Vinegaroon, and we pass onward, approaching the summit. We can see the sky again, and we see in the distance there are floating crystal-bottomed rocks in the heavens around us. And our fire and ice-spitting dragons are back for a rematch. Their name now says Wounded, as in like Wounded Pyro Dragon, because we beat them up beforehand.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah. So we fight them again, and we finally reach the end of the dungeon, not quite the top of the mountain, but very close. And we are now climbing up human-sized stairs. So these are the ruins of the old, like, Dravanian...
right, when we were bros.
Yeah, back when we were bros.
Mm-hmm.
Up here, we find Teoman, the consort of Nidhogg.
We knew that she was up here, and Justinian had an opinion about her, as in he didn't give a shit. He'll kill a bitch. And Ezel was disgusted by this. And I kind of agree with Ezel, but this is for the greater good. Teoman, Ezel tries to reason with Teoman to say, we're not here to fight, we're here to talk. But Teoman has been so overwhelmed by her partner's rancor that she can no longer be reasoned with either. Therefore, we must fight.
Maybe she just hates us on principle and is now overwhelmed.
Which is also fair.
Teoman is a gnarly black dragon. She has thick, coarse scales overlapping down her body with a long and extremely draconian face. Mm-hmm. This is a dragon-ass dragon.
Like Maleficent. It kind of reminded me of that. From the OG Sleeping Beauty.
I have never watched...
The look on his face is so bad.
I have never watched that from like start to finish. I also know that Maleficent has gotten like reimaginings.
There's a live action
Yeah, so I wasn't...
I hear are pretty good. I haven't seen those either. I've only seen OG Sleeping Beauty. Maleficent, the evil queen, because there's always an evil queen. Or evil queen witch something.
If there's not an evil queen, you're the evil queen.
Ooh, deep. At some point, she turns herself into a dragon.
Spoilers.
And she looks like that.
Got it.
In the face.
Wow. I am now spoiled. No point in watching it.
That's false. Oh my God. Oh my God. The scene where they try to bake a cake and sew the dress. I was obsessed. And then when they kept throwing the magic at her dress and were like, pink, no blue, no pink, no blue. And I'm, she's just dancing around a ballroom in this color changing dress.
Is that from Sleeping Beauty and not like Cinderella?
Not Sleeping Beauty.
Great, okay.
Cinderella did not have a trio of fairies.
She had a magic dress, though, and Anne Fairy.
You're not wrong.
Look at that.
Yeah. So the Anne Fairy would not fight with themselves to change the color of her dress in real time at a ball with the prince.
No, I have seen that one, but it's been a long time, Jen, so I don't know.
I would love to watch Sleeping Beauty with you. You can get to know Flora, Fauna, and Merryweather. If Merryweather isn't your favorite, I don't know what to tell you. And then lots of good music.
Well, bank that for the next movie watching slot, Jen.
Oh, that'll be so good.
Yeah.
Okay.
There we go.
Continue.
Okay. Anyway, on to Teoman, the Maleficent-esque dragon. Zell beseeches her to give us safe passage. She gets mad instead, and we must do battle. The first big mechanic is the meteor mechanic. I think this is the first meteor mechanic in a dungeon. We got them in Crystal Tower, and if we did coils in sequence, we got them as well, but I'm not sure if we've seen these in a dungeon until now.
I don't think so.
Either way, we get the big fat green meteor marker over us, and like they do, this is a signal for you to bait some mechanic at some location. So if we're doing it right, we will all, because we get like multiple players with these markers at once, the players should group up together in like one corner of the arena. Once the meteor markers vanish, that means you have snapshotted that mechanic in a location, so then you bail. And where they were, you get these proximity AoEs.
Aha.
So then you want to book it away from the place where you have teamed up and dropped your markers.
Look at that.
If you
Sometimes
don't,
that worked.
Yeah, if you don't do it here, it'll be fine. They're not that high damage, but it's good practice for the future because in future proximity mechanics, if you are too close to them, then you will die.
Yeah, just, work on those good habits.
Yep, exactly. Get your habbies while they're fresh.
Indeed. And also do Hollow the Novice.
That too. The other mechanic of the fight is around the halfway point. She will become invulnerable and her wings become vulnerable.
Yes,
and
left wing and right wing.
The main challenge here is realizing that the targets have changed and you have to change targets to the wing.
Though if you've done Sunken Temple of Karn, which if you're at this point you have, you'll remember the golem and the golem's soul stone that you have to fight down.
Yep.
Or even Titan.
Well,
it's
sure.
not a new
It's
mechanic.
not the first time it happened, but still, if you are in the zone, pressing buttons, whatever, you can easily be wailing on like an invulnerable target when there are two new targets present.
Yeah, that's embarrassing.
So you fight the wings, dodge the AoEs. After that's done, then you go back to the normal fight and you slay Tiamat.
Rip.
Upon her defeat, Estinian begins to sense something.
He collapses.
Yeah.
Because he has the eye, Nidhogg's eye, and because we just destroyed Nidhogg's partner, he's feeling the same pain. Well, not the same, but he's feeling the pain. And also Nidhogg's rage has been turned up to 1 billion.
It burns hotter than flame.
Yeah, it's pretty hot. It's like 100 degrees Kelvin.
But he recovers. Isn't that like boiling temp?
I just remember...
No, that's Celsius, I think.
Correct. Kelvin, I think, is a lot.
A lot.
No. 100 Kelvin would be like red.
Red. Just red.
Yeah, which I don't think is very hot. So let's say like 10. I don't. You know what?
What is even going on here?
I don't know. I'm working off of my knowledge of color temperatures, which is not the same.
Flame.
Forget I just said it. Somebody who's a scientist.
You can @ Jen.
Or a physicist, please tell him. What is 100 Kelvin?
Dropping in a comment here because we are extremely wrong. 100 degrees Kelvin is negative 279 degrees Fahrenheit. Estinian recovers from his shared wrath with Nidhogg, and we move onwards into the churning mists. But as we do, Izel remarks, "Thus do we add another link to the chain of vengeance. Oh, Saint Shiva, when will it end?"
I mean, she's not wrong. We just keep leaving a trail of bodies behind us in an effort to prevent more deaths. At some point you got to think like, what are we doing? And yes, we're just perpetuating the cycle of revenge between dragon and man. We know we're doing it for the right reasons. Citation needed. But Izel is completely fucking right. And it got to be just so painful for her to try to like but be sympathetic to both sides in a way. And also like her and the dynamic with Estinian, the fact that he has Nidhogg's eye and is therefore connected to this like essentially immortal creature's emotions, it has given him it has provided him no empathy or sympathy to their plight at all, which is also interesting because his personal trauma completely trumps that connection. And so even though it's like literally like in his blood, he can't see from that perspective at all. So the man is deeply, deeply damaged. They both are, Nidhogg and Estinian. So we're dealing with a whole group of people right now that are beyond traumatized. And we're the Warrior of Light. We're just going do. Hey, look.
Spoiler.
Yeah, and now we're in the Churning Mists, which is
We are not yet.
Oh.
That will be next time.
Okay.
Well, not next time. Anyway, before that, Jen.
We're at the top of Sohm.
Yes, we are. We did it. Congrats.
Congrats to you. Congrats to all of us.
This is a very straightforward dungeon, Jen. Like we said, I actually got confused. I thought this was the Churning Mists dungeon, and I was excited because that one has some cool shit in it. This one is fine. Like we said, is average. It is not remarkable, especially. Nothing really stands out. Story-wise, the Tiomon fight is cool, and I think that she has good mechanics for this level of the game.
Mhm.
But the lead up to her is pretty whatever, honestly.
It's a dungeon.
Which is kind of a bummer for the tallest peak in Eorzea. Yeah, but it's fine. We're not here to be mountain climbers.
I want you to put in the yodeling mountain climber from Price is Right.
TBD.
Yeah. Okay.
That said, though, this game does have some really good mountain climbing dungeons in the future. There's one in the most recent expansion that I think is a great representation of like elevation and of just ascent in general. Final Fantasy 14 Celeste. Except not because there's no platforming.
That analogy is pretty good.
Thank you. Not for the actual mechanical challenge, but for the feeling of like climbing, of like ascent. Yeah. So,
which isn't really something we got with this one.
Nope, it's just like it's like an ADA compliant slope, pretty much.
Correct.
You could roll a wheelchair up here, no problem.
30-foot long. I don't remember what the run of a rise is, but anyway.
So that's all I got. It's fine. We had fun doing it for sure. Not the game's best dungeon, not the worst dungeon either. We can stop saying average. I think we got the feeling across. So with that said, Jen, any final thoughts on this dungeon?
No, because I really just don't remember.
So
when it was a bit ago, we've had some delays, and like we said, it's just it was a dungeon, and we did it, and we had some fun times with our friends, and
yeah,
and there you go.
Well, we're about to head up to the Churning Mists and all that entails, but before then, we're taking a break to do Machinist. This will be a 2-part job because we're beginning at 30 and ending at 60.
30 to 50, then 50 to 60.
Yep. Yeah. So we will see you next time for Machinist Part 1.
And that will do it for today's episode. Thank you all so much for listening. And thank you for agreeing with me that Merryweather is the best fairy. And these are like Powerpuff Girls. At me if you disagree. If you want to get in touch with us, you can at podreturnffxiv@gmail.com. We are on the Blue Sky, so check us out at podreturnffxiv. Check the show notes for our Discord. You can get up in there and join us for some of these group runs. We have Baja going on all the time. Share your glams, pets, memes, or just have a conversation about stuff. We would love to have you. And last but not least, our Patreon. Patreon.com/podreturnffxiv. And for $1 a month, you get access to all the other stuff that we do. That includes the seasonal events from 14, our Final Fantasy 11 series, Vana'diel Van Splainer, and some other stuff like the card game and the tabletop and blah, blah, blah. Check it out. And with that, we hope you enjoyed the episode. Have a good day or night, and we will see you next time.